Thank you, Chair Latta and Ranking Member Matsui for holding this important hearing. And I've been in another committee, so excuse me for not being here for very long. I want to thank the commissioners for their testimony and all the work the FCC is doing to expand access to broadband infrastructure and lowering internet costs for Americans. For my constituents back home in Illinois, there is no dispute that expanding access to affordable, high-speed internet services is one of the most beneficial things that can happen in a community. The impact of broadband expansion on economic outcomes is significant, resulting in improved life outcomes stemming from higher property values, increased job and population growth, and lowering unemployment rates. And my district is, as you know, urban, suburban, and rural. One such program helping to accomplish this is the Affordable Connectivity Program, or ACP. In Illinois, it is estimated that over 550,000 households are enrolled in this program, which saved Illinoisans $16.6 million on their internet service. In my district, the 2nd Congressional District, it is estimated there are about 61,000 enrollees in the program, saving my constituents about $1.8 million on their internet bills. These are real savings for real people. Chair Rosenmore, so I have seen studies that estimate the existence of ACP can reduce by 25% the per household subsidy needed to build in rural areas. In fact, multiple Republican senators wrote to President Biden just yesterday in support of additional ACP funding. If we want government to go further in reaching our shared goal of closing the digital divide, why is it important that Congress and this committee work to maintain funding for ACP? And when must the FCC begin preparing for the possibility that the program will run out of money or will need funds?
The Affordable Connectivity Program is a big deal. It's the largest broadband affordability program in our nation's history. And the thing is, if we're going to give out funds like we are in the BEAD program to help deployment in rural areas, we got to make sure that people are going to show up and subscribe. So these programs work hand in glove, the BEAD program and the ACP program. We need to make sure the ACP program continues so that the BEAD program can also thrive. We anticipate that the funds could end for this program, as they've been appropriated so far, by as early as April of next year. So we got to start planning now and working with Congress now to make sure that this big historic program to help close the digital divide and keep everyone online and all the good it's doing can continue.
Thank you for your response. I am chair of the Congressional Black Caucus Health Brain Trust and have done a lot of work around maternal mortality and morbidity. So yesterday's announcement from the FCC on how the agency is exploring the role of broadband connectivity and maternal health outcomes could not have come at a better time. As we know, broadband connectivity also leads to improved health outcomes. Can you talk about the importance of this data to help this country take strides to improve maternal mortality rates?
The U.S. is the only industrialized country with a rising level of maternal mortality. And for women who live in rural areas and Black and Latino women, the numbers are even higher. It's unfair, it's not right, and we have got to fix it. So we're doing our part to contribute by looking at the data for broadband deployment and overlaying it with facts about maternal mortality. We know there are telemedicine and telemonitoring solutions for women in pregnancy, and we want to make sure that they're available. And so our hope is that by pushing this data out, which is a combination of FCC data and data from the CDC and other places, we're going to get people to study it, to tell us what patterns there are out there, and what kind of telemedicine programs can help us address this crisis.
Thank you. I am one of the co-chairs of the Data Mapping to Save Moms Lives Act. Now, quickly turning to Spectrum, can you, by letting auction authority lapse, is the U.S. at risk of losing our global leadership position with respect to technology and innovation?
Unfortunately, yes. We're going to have to get that authority back, because when we have spectrum in the pipeline and we have auction authority, nobody innovates or creates like the U.S. when it comes to wireless services.
And even with the current lack of auction authority, are the FCC and NTIA continuing to work with government users like DoD to identify new spectrum for deployment to ensure commercial access for 5G, IoT, and other technologies?
We continue to talk to NTIA about those matters on an almost daily basis.
Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you. The gentlelady yields back. The chair now recognizes